Israel-Iran news now. After breaching their fragile peace, Israel and Iran opened Pandora's box. Israel's response was unexpectedly weak. Iran denied externally directed air raids on a military base near Isfahan and other sites on Friday. Israeli spokespersons were unusually quiet. It seemed like a bilateral agreement to de-escalate the situation softly. Like 19th-century duelists secretly pointing pistols across a misty English meadow at dawn, both countries coveted honor but wanted to avoid another public dispute. Each fired directly at the other, causing symbolic damage. They and their seconds mark the end, for now. If so, it's a big, if momentary, relief. Perhaps heavy U.S. pressure on Israel to restrict, aided by Britain and others, paid off. After Israel defeated Iran's unprecedented, large-scale air attack last weekend, President Joe Biden urged Israel to take the win. There was disagreement among its leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not a coward. He uses force intuitively as a former commando. Hard-right pals advised him to go berserk. His measured answer shows greater U.S. leverage. Last weekend, the U.S. provided vital defense aid to Israel. Years of shadow war between the two countries are now visible. It would be naive to think this is over. Political and ideological animosity still divides the enemy. Both governments have internal differences that cause instability and conflict. This sets a bad precedent. A Pandora's box of one-on-one confrontation has opened. The two countries' years-long shadow conflict is becoming visible. Iran can strike again at any time, directly or indirectly. Israel could strike Iran's nuclear facilities again and more regularly after demonstrating its ability to do so on Friday. Next time could be worse. Both sides gain from this Israel-Iran impasse and the Palestinian crisis. Even more obvious is the West's problem. Foreign Secretary David Cameron exemplifies Britain's one-sided, two-faced policy. He pressed for Gaza supplies and a truce late in the game, but without success. That failure may be due to Rishi Sunak's government's reluctance to leverage UK arms sales to Israel. Cameron's failure to condemn the unannounced April 1 Israeli air raid on Iran's diplomatic complex in Damascus, which killed senior commanders and prompted Tehran's attack this weekend, is another reason. UN experts agree the strike was illegal. British consulates will get a strong response if assaulted, Cameron said last week. To acknowledge Israel was wrong was too much for him. Many Western countries default to pro-Israel. The winners and losers of last week's events are clear for Ukrainians. Another indigestible Western hypocrisy enrages them. Ukraine has appealed for NATO air protection and missile defenses for 2 years without success. What occurred when Iran bombarded Israel? The rambling about escalation abruptly vanished. The US, UK, France, and others rushed combat planes to support advanced missile defenses. Israel survived, but officials believe poorly protected Ukraine faces 300 drone and missile assaults per week. Besieged Palestinians have watched in dismay as Iran turned Western criticism of Netanyahu into a jarring solidarity chorus overnight. Aid agencies warn of impending starvation. About 34,000 Palestinians died in 6 months at Israeli hands. The delayed Rafah offensive looms. Only losers exist in Gaza and the West Bank. Iran declared victory over Israel for the Damascus consulate bombing. Its attack was a disaster that revealed its military weaknesses. More ostracism and punishments are the immediate punishment. Iran hasn't helped the Palestinians, not that its authorities care. Israelis have little to rejoice either. Yes, Israel defeated Iran this time, but it cost. Its deterrence policy is weak. Fortress Israel is no longer impenetrable. More than 130 hostages remain in Gaza, Hamas is undefeated, and hawkish Netanyahu's poll ratings are soaring. After fumbling the October 7 Hamas massacre of 1,200 Israelis, Biden finally got it right. It's not over. Iran adds to Biden's Middle East dilemma, costing him progressive votes. He cannot remove himself from Israel politically. Netanyahu's destructive leadership might sink Biden in the election. Last week, the Middle East avoided disaster. The projected regional fire has not yet started. Several critical worldwide emergencies are worsening due to contingent neglect. Tens of millions in war-torn Sudan need humanitarian aid. Others, Haiti, Somalia, Myanmar. There are numerous compelling reasons to resolve the Israel-Palestine conflict. Diplomats spend too much time and money on it. It poisons the whole system. It destabilizes Western policy. It boosts rogue actors like Iran. Most Israelis' myopic hostility to a Palestinian state is everyone's concern in a globalized world. Israel's blind spot blinds all. Iran's hostility and what may follow should be shocking.